Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back, or welcome to another Bangs audio review. It has been a minute. I do apologize for that, although most of you know that I've had surgery recently. This is my second in the past year and fourth overall on my spine in the past 8 years, so good times. Anyway, I think we got it right. So they went in, just to give you sort of what happened. They went in, they saw that last year's surgery, one of the screws had come loose and migrated into the nerves in my spinal cord, which is why I was in so much fucking pain for that whole time. Makes sense now to me, right? So they fixed that, and then they extended the fusion, and I should be good to go. So basically, like, the middle of my neck and the bottom of my back are now filled with titanium plates and screws and cages and stuff like that. But you know what? I'm getting better. I feel like I'm getting better every day. And I'm back. So here I am. I'm back. Thanks for all of your support and kind words and encouragement and everything over the past 6 weeks. It was not an easy go. I had an infection. I was just basically a day or two away from having to be hospitalized on an IV antibiotic drip, and that would have been for like 6 to 8 weeks. So, but we luckily caught it early enough. I found out I'm not actually really allergic to penicillin in the process, even though it's been on my medical chart since I was 20. I guess I'm not. So yeah, we kicked it out. We're good. I'm getting better, like I said, every day. Things are moving along. I'm getting more mobile. You know, I'm still trying to be careful, not doing too much. But it's nice to sort of see the light at the end of the tunnel at this point, because it's been a long, long road. But it also has allowed me to do this. And, you know, I would not have done that unless I had this time on my hands. I would have not created the channel and gotten to know everybody and, you know, shared my thoughts and stuff like that and opinions on sets like the Apevoix Grit. And if it's not Apevoix, I don't know what else it could be. So I'm going with Apevoix, right? If somebody knows that it's pronounced differently than that, please let me know. I'd like to know. But I don't see any other way to say it, honestly. The Grit is a single DD 4BA, one bone conduction driver configuration, tribrid. Kind of along the lines of the DMA, and it holds a lot of things in common with the DMA, so we'll get into that when we do the comps. But for starters, it's a quick unboxing because there's no box. It just came with this little sleeve on it. It was wrapped in plastic, of course, for protection. The sleeve usually comes off pretty easily, but yeah, it's alright. And then this massive, like, Milwaukee toolbox kind of thing, which definitely looks like it could be thrown out of an airplane and be okay. This is not the cable that came with it. This is actually the mistake I ordered, but I'm glad I have it. It's the Noir Blanc cable from Thai Audio. Is that what it's called? No, Elite Noir cable. That was going to go on my Hype 4, but then I ordered another Zins cable to go on the Hype 4, which is now on the Hype 4, so I've got this cable extra, and it's going to be staying on these, even though they're not a recessed 2-pin connection. It looks nice with them. So the included cable is this guy, and it's very good. It's a very nice cable. There was no option for a 4.4, so if you ordered this, you only had the option of a 3.5. However, the cable is superb, non-tangly, no memory, and soft, and just a really nice cable, which is going to my buddy Dan in Alabama when I'm done with it, which pretty much now I'm done with it, so that'll be in your care package, my friend. Also came with small, medium, and large silicone ear tips that I would just call normal bore, and a couple of foams in there as well. So, you know, no great shakes on the accessories, except the cable is nice. I mean, I will say that. The cable is nice. IEMs obviously came seated in this guy, very protected on the top with the foam, and there you go. So the storage case is not pocketable, obviously, but definitely is baggable, and definitely is pretty much indestructible from what I can tell. So nice job with the storage case, guys, very much. On the specs, thankfully for me, because I'm a little rusty, right on the sleeve, you've got, like I said, 1DD, 4BA, 1BCD. The DD is a 10 millimeter. I think it's a biodiaphragm. 4BAs are custom, so, they're either in-house or contracted out from another supplier. They sound pretty freaking good, though. Frequency response 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, standard fare. 16 ohms on the impedance, also standard fare, and 104 decibels on your sensitivity. 2 pinpoint 7/8 flush for your connection point, and your 3.5 millimeter single-ended termination for your cable. These were no problem to drive at all. They were pretty sensitive. I would have thought the sensitivity was actually a little bit higher than that. If I were to guess, I would have said maybe 112. But that could have something to do with the bone conduction driver implementation on the set. So, sleeve out of the way. We'll move that guy over a little bit. As far as the build and the fit goes, these are big. They're a big, chunky, chassis or shell with a really nice, it's a dark faceplate, but there's flecks of gold and some sort of like shale, sort of grayish silver little jobbies in there. You guys know that I'm not super good at zooming in. I'm certainly no short bus when it comes to zooming in on these things, but maybe you can see them a little bit in the light. There is nice detail in there, and they're seamlessly incorporated into the 3D printed shell. But like I said, they're big, and if you are of the smaller ear folks, then these are just definitely not going to be comfortable for you. I mean, you might be able to get them in comfortably because the nozzle's fairly ergonomic and long enough to sort of keep this maybe away from your ear a little bit, but they're going to be sticking out, They're just going to be sticking out, and that's up to you whether you want to deal with that or not. Like I said, personal choice there. YMMV. There are 3 vents here on the very back, which you probably can barely make out, if at all, but they are there. And it's pretty seamless. It's pretty high quality, 3D printed resin, I would say. For me, the fit was comfortable enough. Like, I didn't have any physical fatigue from them. You just have to be used to the bigger shell kind of sticking out of your ears a little bit, because unless you're a giant and you've got giant ears, they're going to stick out a little bit. I would say deep insertion is a good thing for these. As far as both the tuning and the drivers go, I felt like I got better, just a better overall performance and more enjoyable performance out of them. If I had shorter, like you could see here, the Divinus Velvet wide bores, a little shorter on the ear tips, like height-wise, so you can get them nice and far into your ears. But yeah, build quality is excellent. Set retails for $200 if you can find them. They were still available, obviously, when I picked them up, but now they are sold out on Linsol's website. They're sold out on the Apevoix website. They're sold out on AliExpress, except for the case. I don't know if there's another batch of this coming. I hope maybe there is, because I mean, honestly, like, if you sell your all of your sets out within like a year and 3 months, I think they were released in like late summer to early fall of 2024. If they've sold out like basically within a year, that means that you've done good, and maybe make some more and put them out there. But I will give you a little tidbit that they gave to me, because I contacted Apevoix directly to talk about the set a little bit, see what they had to say. And there will be a new set coming. They didn't say when. Soon, quote unquote, from this producer. And this is the only set that I know of that they have released. And I am eagerly awaiting their next release. And maybe they'll send me a review set. That would be really cool if they did. I've got nothing but good things to say about the company, and honestly about the overall sound quality and driver quality and tuning of the Grit. Now, we have a story to tell. I'll try to go quick because I want to do the comps too with the Fan3 and the DMA, which are also bone conduction drivers involved. So when I first started listening to this set, and you can see the graph right here. I mean, that tuning is pretty spot on, except maybe for airheads or treble heads that might be a little bit rolled off for you. But for me, there was plenty of energy up there and plenty of detail and plenty of, soundstage and all of the goodies. But anyway, you can see it's a balanced signature. The mid bass is predominant enough to warm them up a little bit. The mids are nice and clear and clean. There's no bleeding in from the bass, and it's a fairly, I would say, an average maybe ear gain, not super, super aggressive or super laid back. And then it just releases into the treble, and the treble trails off kind of just, I would say, naturally would be the way I would put it. So really, really good job on the tuning of these guys. But, and there's a but, when I first started listening to them, my impression was this: wow, really technical, really good tuning, really like clean, clear, kind of concise, but almost too clinical, almost to the point of them feeling like they were dry. It just didn't feel like there was a heck of a lot of musicality. Like, naturalness was there, like everything sounded like it should, but it just sounded very, very clinical. And dry. Dry is the best way I can put it, because like I used to work in the wine business, and so a lot of times you describe wines as either being sweet or dry. Fruity or dry, I suppose you could substitute for sweet, but I hate it when people do that, because honestly, fruity is different than sweet. These felt dry. They sounded dry. They sounded like just very sort of stoic and not aloof, but kind of just very reticent and not super engaging. And so I experienced something with this set that I haven't really experienced much at all in the way of IEMs. I've experienced it some in over-the-ear headphones, because those drivers are bigger and they actually can break in and, sort of flesh out. But that I haven't experienced it that much with IEMs. I did with these. I threw them on. They probably spent about 50 hours on pink noise, and then I listened to a bunch of music with them, because you guys know I've been out of this for about 6 weeks. And they definitely opened up and fleshed out and warmed up and got more musical as time went on. Now you're saying, oh, Chris, well, that's probably just brain burn-in. Okay, I would say yes, except I was comparing them to the Hype 4, the DMA, the Fan 3, the GK20 Pros that came, any number, like the Crescent, the Zgat Crescent, which is our next review, like any number of different sets. Those sets weren't changing. The grit was. So that is my argument. It can't just be brain burn-in. It can't just be hearing burn-in, because those sets stayed the same, and sets that I knew very well were staying the same, and these were changing. So stuff like that may not, and I doubt it would come through on the graph. The graph that I did when I got them and the graph that I just did the other day came out exactly the same. It's not necessarily like a frequency response measurement difference. It's a tone and timbre difference, where the drivers may have just like sort of loosened up, integrated, whatever you want to call it, break in, burn in. I don't know how else to describe it, but I fully experienced it with this set, and that doesn't happen very often. My initial impression was, wow, this is a good set. There's nothing wrong with it. It's technical, it's well tuned, the drivers sound good, but it just didn't engage me. But they do now, and I can tell you that the last time that I took out my beloved Hype 4s and put these in, I was like, damn, the grit is good. I was like expecting, I'm like, oh god, I don't want to go from the Hype 4 to the grit. And I did, and I was like, oh, wow. Okay, so there you go. Comparison number 1, Hype 4 is a better set. It's just smoother, more natural, kind of, even more technical, even like I loved the hell out of that set, especially for Tool, but y'all know that by now. On the bone conduction driver side of things, you've got the Fan 3, or I'm sorry, I've got the DMA in my hands. The Fan 3, and the Fan 3 is completely different tuning. This is a brighter tuning. It is much smoother and more detailed, and I would say more, polished in the treble, but the treble is more prominent. So this is more, leans brighter, little less bass, pretty considerable amount less on the bass side of things, but does outpace the Grit in the treble insofar as energy and polish, smoothness, detail, etc. Sounds pretty close, but for our treble loving friends, and which I can be at times, the Fan 3 definitely outperforms the Grit. Okay, so if that's your jam, you like treble, you like the best treble you can kind of hear for under $500, then it's still the Fan 3. As far as the DMA goes, I'd say this is the closest in tuning to the Grit, or I should say the Grit is the closest in tuning to the DMA. But the DMA still is such a grand, immersive, amazing experience that I would say it's close, but it's still not like, they're still not at the DMA level. The DMA, being that it's a 2+ year-old set, being that it's still, well, now the second favorite set that I actually own. It's formidable, and the Grit doesn't quite get there. But if you consider the price difference being $100, everyday regular retail, the DMA being $300, the Grit being $200, it gets close. And that's pretty, for me, that's impressive. I'm not saying it's good enough, but I think the price difference makes it good enough. So, like, if $300 is too rich for your blood and $200 isn't, and you want a DMA-like experience, then I'm going with the Grit. It's got the bone conduction. It's got the nice fatty, dynamic driver. It's got the BAs to handle the mids and the highs. It's just a really well put together set. But like I said, patience is going to be required. I definitely, highly, seriously recommend burning it in. Even if you just do it with music, maybe that's your preferred method, but you will see as time goes on, as you listen to these more and more, that they do change, and they do become more engaging and more musical over time. And now have turned into, they can't make the top 10 list for 2025 because they were released in 2024, but they're going to make a list. I think I'm going to do top 10 2025. I'm going to do top 10 values 2025. And then the third list, which is going to be the fun one, is my favorite purchases of this year, regardless of release date, which is going to include the Apevoix Grit for sure. I'm impressed. I'm impressed to the point where I think that whatever they come out with next is going to be worth getting. Like, it's probably going to be worth a blind buy, because I would put these in that category as long as you listen to what I had to say about them and just give them a chance to sort of come around a little bit. And maybe other people didn't have that experience. That's possible. I think the reviews out on this set, which there are several, I think starting with Tone Deaf Monk back in maybe January or February, are all very positive. And I was kind of concerned I was going to be an outlier there for a little bit because of my initial experience with them. But I came around, they came around, and they got a highly recommended, if you can find them. I don't know. I just tried to look. I was like, well, I got to get a purchase link on here somewhere, somehow. But everywhere I looked, they're sold out. I haven't looked at Amazon yet. Maybe I'll take a look at Amazon really quick while we're on. So let's see. As far as like genres and things like that go, they're pretty well rounded. I wouldn't say they don't do anything well, and I wouldn't say there's anything they do better than other things, you know, as far as. But you know me, I listen to a lot of metal, and yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're not here. Yeah, no, I don't think they were ever on Amazon, to be honest with you. I don't think they made enough of them to put them on Amazon. So keep your eye out if you're interested. You keep your eye out at the Apevoix store. I'll link that. You can keep your eye out at Linsol. I'll link them, and you can keep your eye out on AliExpress. Right now, it's just the case available, I think, on Linsol and Ali. So that is where we will leave it. God, I missed you guys. I miss doing this. This has been like one of my favorite things to do of anything that I do in my life. So it's really good to be back. It's going to be pedal to the metal till the end of the year. Got lots of sets to do. I've got my lists to do. Stay tuned. The ZGAT Crescent review is going to be done either Wednesday or Thursday, and then we're just going to keep it going. Review every 2 to 3 days until I can't do it anymore. At least I'm going to try. You know, it won't be a week in between the reviews from here to January 1st. I can tell you that for sure. It's going to be less than that. So we'll see how many we can get in. Be careful, be safe, be nice. I love y'all. Missed y'all. Nothing but peace to you. We'll see you soon.